Hi, this is Nate Bailey with the Life Outdoors. And after this spring turkey season, I thought, man, this is the video that I got to make for you guys because I saw so many similarities in elk hunting with the turkey season that I had.
So, Lord, please, we ask this in your holy of holy names, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Turkey season that I had. I chose to go out in the public land and just, everything that's BLM and Forest Service and all that, and chase turkeys for my own tag there. And one of the things that I found is that turkey hunting and elk hunting have a lot of things in common. So if you're a new elk hunter, one of my best pieces of advice is you guys get out there and get after it and go turkey hunting, spring turkey hunting, but do it in a way that you are going out and you're running and gunning, and you're going out and you're grabbing gobbles, and then you're chasing the gobbles, and you're trying to get that bird to work in and get him killed. That, you guys, is going to help your elk hunting success. It's just going to raise your curve. So I got five tips to do that, that I think, five commonalities, I should say, that I think are between elk hunting and turkey hunting. And I know you elk hunters out there, you're going to say, there's nothing like it. Yes, I understand that. I understand a big bull coming in raking is super intense, but I also understand that the techniques to get to that bull are a lot the same, and that's what I'm talking about. So these tips that we have and these techniques that we have, you could hone through turkey hunting. And that's our first tip, is you're going to have a lot more at-bats. There were days when I was on 4 or 5 different birds. So I had 4 or 5 different birds that I could work with. And being able to, as I was guiding clients, we had a lot more at-bats. We were able to get in on that bird, screw up a lot more times, and still be able to get after the birds. And that was one of the things that I thought was a real reason for us to get out there and get after the turkeys. But the 5 things, I'll read them to you, and then we'll go back through them and I'll talk to you about them. A lot of times the areas that you hunt turkeys in out here in the West are the same areas that you're going to hunt elk in. So you're doing some pre-scouting in front of things. The second thing is you have to build skills to get in front of the animals. And it goes true with turkeys and it goes true with elk. You got to be able to get in front. You cannot call stuff back to you. The third thing is you got to learn how to get into the gobbler's bubble. You got to be able to get within that area that's going to turn him from whatever, that guy's messing with me, to I'm going to kill that guy. And the same holds true with elk. And then fourth, you have to be able to to be able to understand how this rut works, all these interactions within a flock or within a herd work, and how you use that for your advantage. And then the last thing is to learn how to seal the deal. Learn when to draw, when to release, all those things that are so important. You can learn turkey hunting. So let's talk about the first thing. The areas are they're the same. A lot of the areas are exactly the same. That a lot of out here in the West, we're hunting turkeys in the same area that the elk are, because both of them like diverse areas. So you're going to get to know a lot more ground, and you're going to get to be able to understand a little bit more about how the turkeys and the elk work that ground. One of the things that I think that you're going to learn a lot about if you're a turkey hunter is you're going to be looking for places and sign to show you where those elk have been, or where those turkeys have been using. A lot of the things that we were looking for is like on a dirt road. If there were turkeys there, if there was breeding turkeys around, there were there were parts on the dirt roads where they were strutting and dragging their wings. And so you know that those turkeys are rutting in that area, or breeding in that area. We'll just call it rutting from now on because it's a lot like elk. Another thing is you're looking at all the sign. If it's clean and there's you know, 3 or 4 different ages of the sign that's in there, of the droppings, you know those turkeys are using that area. And the same holds true with elk. And I'll tell you another thing that I learned is if there's none of that, I don't care how good the habitat looks, there's no turkeys there. And if the sign starts drying up, that means the turkeys have left. It's the same thing with elk. If it's just on a bigger scale with elk. But turkeys, the cool thing about it is if you just keep going from draw to draw to draw and you find those habitat areas, you're going to find turkeys in them. And the same holds true with elk. It's just more spread out most of the time with elk. Their territories are bigger. So that's one of the things. The second thing is you have to build the skills to get in front of moving animals. And what I mean by that is like when you're elk hunting and you get a bugle and he's in front of you, you are not going to call that bull back. it's just, I mean, maybe there's a fluke time when it's happened out there, but you're not going to call that bull back. You're going to have to get around and get in front of that bull and understand where he's moving through and try to head him off at the pass, because what you're really doing when you're calling is you're diverting them off of their path that they're going. And the same holds true with turkeys. Turkeys, you're not going to call back. Another thing is the hens are going to control where those turkeys are going. So you're really trying to get in front and be able to get to where that turkey's going to come through in front of you. And by doing that, you're trying not to overcall. You know, everybody wants to hear the gobble and know where he's at. But at the same time, you're trying, because if you start overcalling, then that creates problems within the whole dynamic. Sometimes the hens get really screwed up over that, and they'll just take that turkey, they'll take that tom as far away as they can if you're still trying to get around them. So one of the things that we do, and we do it with both elk and turkeys, is we will call, locate, and we will look on onX, and we will try to figure out where that turkey is and where he's going and which direction he's heading. We'll give them a couple calls to hear which direction they're heading and try to get a bearing. And then we try to get around in front of them. And that leads us to our third thing is you can't get in and get within, you know, a couple hundred yards and expect to call that bird to you. You got to get closer. You got to be able to break that bubble. And a lot of times you're breaking the hen's bubble. That's a lot of times what you're doing is you're breaking that hen's bubble, and to where she's not going to keep pulling them away from you. And you do that, that's how you kill elk and turkeys. You come in and you bring them in and you break that bubble. Usually with turkeys, it's a little bit shorter than elk. Elk, it's, you know, 100 yards sometimes. If they're really juiced up and you get in 100 yards, and especially if they're bedded, sometimes it's real easy to call that bull off of the cows. The same things with turkeys though, but you got to get a little bit closer. You got to almost be, the success that we've had, we could see hens milling around us, which kind of got us screwed up too. So it's a great thing to learn how to get into that bubble and then start calling and start giving those sweet purrs and get him worked up, and he starts gobbling and starts gobbling and starts gobbling. And you get some of those hens that are kind of like, man, I've been around this guy forever. He's bugging the crap out of me. And then you just keep sweet talking. That's when you pull that turkey over. It's the same thing with elk. It's the same thing. So learning how to get within that bubble is something that you're going to learn too. So you need to get out there, you guys. I'm telling you, if you want to elk hunt and you want to be successful elk hunters, turkey hunt. Turkey hunt, go into public land and you can start it on private land, but make sure that you're not just sitting in the blind and trying to call them. Go out and chase them. And you're going to blow so many turkeys away. You're going to mess it up so many times, but it's worth messing up because of what you learn. And the last thing is learn how to seal the deal. Or no, actually, number 4, we need to learn that flock mentality. We talked a little bit about that. The flock mentality is knowing, you know, who the dominant hen is there and how you have to deal with her. It's the same thing with the cows. You got to know that dominant cow. Sometimes that cow will grab, if she wants nobody else to be a part of that bull, or she doesn't want to breed with another bull, or she doesn't want anything to do with other bulls, she'll take that whole herd and they'll follow. The lead cow runs the show. Same with the lead hen. The lead hen runs the show. There are hens that are so territorial, I've had them come back and beat up decoys before. Hens, it's just the way that whole dynamic works, and you're going to learn this. And that some of that experience flops over into both sets. You know, when it comes to dominance and it comes to territory and things like that, you start reading animals and you start understanding a little bit more. It's going to help your hunting out 100%. And the last thing, now that we're back, what we are is learning how to seal the deal. And what I mean by that is knowing when to draw. You'll see in several videos that you'll see when we draw at the right time, when the animal's eyes aren't on us. And I'll tell you what, when you have one opportunity elk hunting, it's hard to learn how to do that right. But if you get out in the woods and you have, say, in a turkey season, you got 10, 12 opportunities, 15 opportunities, guess what you've learned? You've learned 15 years worth of elk hunting in the woods. And if you could draw on a turkey, you're going to draw on an elk. I'm telling you, if you could draw on a turkey, you're going to draw on an elk. Now, there's 3 things that you have to watch for too, though, okay? When I say that you go out and you treat turkeys and elk the same, the way that you hunt them and this and that, the one thing these 3 things you got to watch for is you can get complacent with your wind when you're turkey hunting because they can't smell you. An elk, that's the biggest thing. You have to play the wind as well as the rest of the stuff. So the one thing that you can take your turkeys and start using the wind and try to get in, you know, downwind of them and try to call them in to where they come, where you're downwind of them as they're coming into you. You could try that, and that will help your elk hunting, but don't get complacent in it. Don't just, you know, nonchalantly, because you were in on 10 turkeys, not pay attention to your wind when you're calling elk. The other thing is, don't get complacent because you have so many opportunities. Make the very best of each opportunity that you have when you're elk hunting. That's a big deal, especially here in Oregon on public land. You may only get 2 opportunities, and you got to not get complacent in that and start doing, you know, start working through that and make sure that you are intense and you're focused and you're not just like nonchalant. Well, I'll just get into another one. You can't be that way. You have to start being more intentional when you're hunting elk. And the last thing too is don't get complacent just with the turkeys themselves. Don't get intense when you're elk hunting. You know, turkey hunting's fun. Elk hunting's fun too. It's a different type of fun. But don't just think that you're going to go out there and find elk everywhere like you can turkeys. So that's what I'm saying. That's the reason I say you need to get out and you need to get turkey hunting if you're going to be a successful elk hunter. I hope that helped you guys. Hey, if it did, you guys can please just leave me a comment here. Tell me how it helped, or leave me some questions on how it could help. And then go over to our website. It helps us a ton if you go over to the website to get this stuff out to you guys, to get more people to be able to see this stuff. And if you're getting something from it, somebody else is going to get something from it. So if you can go over to the website, the Life Outdoors with a Z on the end, it's a lifeoutdoorswithaz.org, and just leave us some comments over there. Check out the guild, or even buy a hat. All those things help get this in front of more people. So you guys, I hope this helps. Get out there, get after those turkeys this year. And until our next video, you keep on living, okay?